morning, everybody. Crafting Journey here, that Journey Chick on Instagram. How was your week? Mine was pretty good. I felt so much better. Um, Knock on wood, yes. Except for the aftermath of physical therapy. When they make you do squats for 10 minutes. Yeah, it was a thing, a real thing. And I was kind of dying. But I had a good week. I really did. Good, things are going well at work. Uh, yeah. So, not a whole lot of diamond painting got done, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to push through this weekend, see if I can finish this thing. But I did start a new project. I know, I'm terrible. You're like, Rebecca. No, it's a cowl. It's a cowl, and I like to take these small projects to work and work on them like on my breaks. So this, I love the pattern of this. I'm using this, it's Mandela watercolor. It's very interesting. But look how cool this pattern is. Isn't that going to be beautiful? Yeah. I'm gonna make it into, it's too short for a scarf, so I'm gonna make it, well, maybe it is gonna be long enough for a scarf. I don't know. We'll see. But I only have one skein of it, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But I'm really liking this color skein. I might go online and see if I can find another skein of it. If I get close to the end of the skein and I don't feel like it's wide enough, although I've already got I'm 6 rows into it, and you're supposed to do, I think, 14 rows for a scarf, or 8 rows for a cowl. So we may cut it off at a cowl. I think it would be cute to just make like a little infinity scarf slash cowl thing. Anyway, I like to have these little projects because I put them on top of my computer in my suitcase, this little suitcase that I take back and forth to work, and then it cushions my computer. It's a win-win, right? I can crochet at work, and have my excuse if my boss sees it is, oh, it cushions my computer. She don't care. She don't care as long as my work is getting done. And yeah. So I am actually doing the step challenge at work too. I'm involving my coworkers. They're not participating with the crafter step challenge. It's just a work thing. But everybody seems really interested, and I think we're going to have a good time with it. Which means I probably should not stop at the donut store this morning. Yeah, because it's Friday, but it's not payday Friday. So, oh, Friday dance, ooh, 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 Friday dance. What's the Saturday Night Live? Friday dance. Ooh. Oh man. The other day at physical therapy, I just have to tell you this, guys. The guy says to me, lay down on this mattress. It's an elevated physical therapy mattress. And I'm like, oh, I get to take a nap? Me. So I lay down, I'm on my back, and he looms over me, and he's stretching my legs for me, up towards, knee to the chest, and he's above me, and he's, like actively stretching me. And I'm like, thinking to myself, I have not been in this position with a man in a long time. It feels pretty good. Yes, my mind went there. Because he was so darn cute. Like, probably 20 years old. I don't know. I'm like, you go right ahead, honey. Just keep stretching. Yeah, that feels good. Okay, maybe he'll do it again today. I wore a dress today, though, that I thought, oh no, I have physical therapy. So I did put a pair of shorts and, the appropriate gear. So in case he wants to stretch me again, we're not going to do stretching in a dress. Listen, I might be old, but I ain't dead, right? Oh, for God's sakes. So last night I secured a guest for Sunday's live show, Mornings with Crafting Journey live on Sundays, 11 Central. Billy's Billy's Crafting Lounge, I think is what he calls his channel. Billy is gonna be on my show on Sunday. He does diamond painting, but he does these amazing clay pins. I'm gonna get him to show us some of his pins, see where he's selling them. I hope he's got an Etsy shop by this time. I would think so. I know he has one, but he like opens and closes it. So we're going to find out the status of that, see what he's up to, see which retreats he's going to, and just kind of chit chat with Billy. If any of you guys would like to join me on Sunday mornings live, even this live on Sunday, if you want to join Billy and I, let me know. I'll send you a link. You can jump right in. It's always a party. Also, Sunday, this is the last Sunday of the month. Now, it used to be book club, but I disbanded the book club. But instead of the book club, I still have my Zoom. So we're going to do a 2 p.m. Zoom meeting, Alice in Wonderland tea party. That's what I'm calling it. What it is we're just going to jump in and chit chat. Maybe we'll be playing Animal Crossing. Maybe we'll be crafting. If you're interested in joining into that Zoom, I will put the Zoom link down into the Crafting Journey Facebook page, so that you can jump into the Zoom meeting on Sunday. Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Boop. Yeah. So, and then at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time in Crafts with Crashly's live, we're going to spin the wheel and put the remaining people that signed up for the 90-day Crafter Step Challenge onto teams. So you're going to want to tune in for that to see which team you got on. Yay. We put about 50 people on teams already, but there's still about 25 more people that need to get put onto teams. And spinning the wheel is always fun, because Tia like imitates the wheel sound. She does. It's really kind of hilarious. So I have a riddle for you guys. Oh yes, do you like my riddles? All right, let me pull it up here, because I did not memorize the riddle. Why not? I don't know. I just didn't. Okay, a man pushes his car to a hotel and tells the owner he's bankrupt. Why? Why would he do that? So, and a lot of us have done the same thing, men or women, pull ourselves up to a hotel, and then we have to tell the owner we're bankrupt. If you know why, put down in the comments why you think that is. It's a funny answer. It really is. Okay. Now we'll do, what national day is it? It is National, I thought I would remember it, but I didn't. That is not it either. Road Trip Day. Do, 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 do. Why? Because it's the Friday before Memorial Day. And not so much last year, but this year, people are hitting the roads. I have a 3-day weekend. I'm off on Monday, except I told my boss, because Mondays is my day to work from home. So I said, I'm not taking the day off. I'm just going to go ahead and work from home. That way I can save that day and take it off another time. But for most people, it's a 3-day weekend. Some people, it's even a 4-day weekend, maybe 3.5. But a lot of people take off today on Friday, and they just go on a road trip. But you must plan your road trip well. Now, there are 2 types of road trippers. There is the tourist and the pilot. Now, when I was married, like 100 years ago, we lived in Florida. We owned a place in on Sugar Mountain in North Carolina, and so we would, whenever we had these long holidays, we would pack up the kids, put them in the car, and take a road trip and go up to our little cabin up in the woods. And I was the tourist. Although I got to tell you, driving through Florida is the most boring drive ever. But my husband was the pilot. It was like this, he had to get to our destination quicker than the time before. It was always like trying to beat his own record. So, like if you had to stop and go to the bathroom, he would grumble and moan and go, hurry up and hurry. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. But it was fun because we would I don't think audiobooks had come into existence back then, because if they had, we would use audiobooks. But back then we used music, and we would play John Denver. As soon as we could see the mountains, we'd play John Denver. Take me home, country roads, to a place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. We'd all be singing. Yeah, none of us could sing, but we would be singing to the John Denver. Me, my husband, the kids. And that's the fun part of a road trip. Make sure you have lots of snacks, drinks, that you do make time to stop. Stop at those all-in-one places that, have the snacks, the clean restrooms, the fuel, everything you need at one place. Yeah. Now I want to go on a road trip. I'm supposed to be going to a road trip to get pick up my kitties. But Crashly's busy this weekend, and Stitch has a cold. So we are putting it off for a couple more weeks, because next weekend, my daughter's road tripping into here in Kansas. The other thing you have to be mindful of on a road trip, plan ahead of time. See what the weather is going to look like. You don't want to get yourself into bad weather. You want to make sure you know where the construction is. Use your apps on your phone to look all these things up. Be prepared. And then have a great time. So if you're going on a road trip this weekend, let me know. And let me know, are you a tourist, or are you the pilot that has to get there quickly? Yeah. Get where, right? The other road trip I would like to take is to visit my sister in Texas. And I will be doing that one of these days coming up soon. Yeah, I just haven't figured out when. I have a date in mind, but I'm not going to say it because she watches the show, and I want it to be a surprise. Well, not a total surprise, because you never want to surprise somebody, like because they want to clean up, I would want an inkling that someone was coming to my house, so I could like put away the yarn and the crafts and just vacuum or dust or whatever. But anyway, but you know what I mean. So, road trip. Who's going on a road trip for Memorial Day? Okay. Judge, jury, and jury. Let me tell you guys, the jury is deliberating. Yes, they are. So yesterday morning was the prosecution, in his rebuttal, brought on one additional witness, and that was the boss of Dalton Jack, the boyfriend, because there was so much, I guess we were all left with questions about, was Dalton Jack really where he said he was in Dubuque working? So they bring on his boss, who testified, yes, he was there working. And they I did ask him questions about, that particular night, July 18th, I think it was, in the hotel. Was he in the hotel? And he says, it's been 3 years. I don't remember that. But I think it cleared up a lot about where Dalton Jack was. And he was in Dubuque. So that will help. I think that will help the jury if they're confused about the testimony that they heard from Christian Bahena Revere yesterday, or the day before, which was astounding to say the least. So the prosecution starts off their closing argument by saying you need to judge all of the credible evidence, as he's pointing towards the defendant, indicating, how credible is this defendant. And I would have to agree with him there. And I said yesterday, he's got no criminal history, but, that's really not true. I mean, this is a guy who paid a coyote to illegally bring him into this country. So, I mean, that's a crime. He does have a criminal history. So you can't say that he doesn't have criminal history. Anyway, so the prosecution talked about, the video surveillance. He showed the video surveillance. We show that Mollie is running by at 7:45, and between 7:45 and 8:07 on the surveillance, we see Christian Bahena Revere's vehicle go by at least 3 times, and there's nobody in the car but Christian Bahena Revere. Although Christian Bahena Revere's story is that the guys were ducking down. Okay. He said they were in the car, and he says, yes, that's absolutely me on that surveillance, but the guys that were in the car with me ducked down so people could see them. Okay. And he said, there is sufficient evidence in this case. Number one, he confessed. Number two, they found blood in his trunk. Now, he's saying that, yes, he confessed, but it wasn't the whole story. But the prosecutor pointed out that his story was so ridiculous that you can't even believe it. It's just ridiculous. And clearly he made it up. I tend to agree with that. Yeah. So, and he says the defendant's version of what happened doesn't even make sense. It just doesn't, So, like, these guys just disappear. Like, where did they go? They're out in the middle of nowhere. Did someone pick them up? Did they go back to the cornfield? Sexually assault Mollie, take her clothes off, throw them out further into the cornfield, put her shoe back on. It just doesn't make sense. They would have had to take the corn stalks off her body, put them back on her body. No. Okay, so the closing of the defense, and this was put on by Mr. Freeze. So they are husband and wife. I did confirm that. They're husband and wife. And he thanked the jury for listening to him and his wife, Jennifer. And she's just cute as a button. So he said, and he comes across a little gruff, but he does actually apologize at the beginning, because this courthouse is under construction. So at any particular time, you can hear hammering going on, and just as he's talking about, you hear this loud hammering, and that's been kind of an issue during this whole case. So he says, if I start speaking loudly, it's because I'm trying to project over the construction. But he does kind of come off a little forceful when he's telling the jury to do your job, keep emotions out of this. Yet the the jury to sympathize with their client, who's an illegal immigrant and who was so poor in Mexico that he had to sneak into this country to, work and support his family. So we're supposed to feel sorry for him. But no, you are to leave your emotions out of it. Okay. All right. So he had a lot of good points, I thought, on his closing. He said there were lots and lots of law enforcement agencies involved in this missing persons case. They had a tremendous amount, like unlimited resources, Yet they never used canine dogs. Like, we don't know where the primary crime scene is. Where was she killed? With the injuries that she suffered, there would have been a great deal of blood. So was it on the side of 385th Avenue? If it was, how come no one saw that? Now, we do know that a tornado came through the next day, that area. So, did it just get obliterated, the crime scene? We're talking a great deal of blood. So no one saw it. They never used canines to sniff out to see if they could find any scent of Mollie to identify where the crime scene was. Yeah. Although I don't know if after 30 days, well, even while they were looking for her, they didn't use canine dogs. So I just thought that was an interesting point. So we know she was not killed in his car. There's no blood in the car. It's in the trunk, but not a tremendous amount of it. And there's really not a lot of blood in the cornfield. She was already dead when she was placed in the cornfield. So we don't think the cornfield is where she was killed. Then he points out, now we're going back to emotions, that this is a family man. He's hardworking. For him to have committed this crime defies logic. And one of the things he also questions that I thought was a very good point, he said, we see the cell phone records of Mollie Tibbitt and that they used to locate her. Why did they not pull cell phone records from the defendant? What's going on, buddy? Why are you making all that racket? I'm doing a show. I love you. Okay, cut it out. Where was I? They also did not pull any cell phone records for Dalton Jack. Now, why not? Let's find, if there's a question of where Dalton Jack is, pull his cell phone records. He's got a cell phone with him, but they didn't do that, which is strange. They have unlimited resources, yet they're not pulling the cell phone records of two suspects. So he made the point to say that the law enforcement was cutting corners, that this was a rush to judgment. There was immense pressure to close this case. So they had to find somebody. They found his client. Okay. So the jury has been deliberating now since 1 o'clock Central Time yesterday. And I waited all evening to see if I could bring you the verdict live. No verdicts yet. I hesitate to say this, but there is a real possibility that we might get a hung jury here. Some of these people might have sympathy for Christian Behema Rivera, might believe his story, might believe that there's some reasonable doubt, and they're having some serious debates about this back in the jury room. We shall see. So other news on a judge, jury, and journey. I've said that I'm going to cover the Lori and Chad Daybell trial when that happens. Now, Lori and Chad Daybell, they were a couple. They were both married to other people. Both of their spouses mysteriously died. Um, and the theory is that Lori Daybell had her brother, her, her enlisted her brother somehow in the deaths of these spouses, but we won't know because the brother's dead. Um, and then this couple, they get married. Lori and Chad get married, and they're part of this weird cult. They believe that they've had these multiple lives and that they've been in love in all these different lives. Like, it's just bizarre, this thing that they believe. But anyway, they're jetting off to Hawaii. Meanwhile, people are asking them, "Where are your children? Where are your children?" And they never answer them. So finally, police are like, "Where are your children?" And they have all these excuses of where the children are. Nobody can find these children. So, long story short, they eventually find the children buried in the backyard of Chad Daybell's home. So they're both arrested for all different, like dozens of different counts of crimes. I can't even begin to describe it. So, long story short, yesterday, Lori Daybell is examined by a psychiatrist to see if she's fit to stand trial. He says, nope, she is not competent to stand trial. What? You know what that means? She's crazy. Well, was there any doubt about that? So I think there's going to be some appeals regarding that. So I don't know if we're going to see this trial anytime soon. There's so much going on in the background of this case. Then the other case, the case that I covered, the Prokopovits case, was that the first one that I covered? That was the no body murder case where the older man, he's 75 years old now. His wife went missing. He wouldn't participate in the searches. He would just go home, sit in his recliner, drink a beer, watch TV. You know, didn't seem to care two hoots about finding his wife. Started an affair with this other woman. Well, we think he was having the affair before his wife went missing. We're pretty sure he did. And he lied about it. So in addition to being convicted of murder, he was convicted of perjury. He was convicted of obstructing an officer's investigation, and he was also convicted of conspiracy to commit perjury. And interestingly enough, on the morning that he was supposed to be sentenced, because the perjury was a separate trial, on the morning that he and his girlfriend, Kathy Friday, were supposed to be sentenced for the perjury, she kills herself. So that gets delayed. He never gets sentenced for the perjury. So they just tack it on to this trial. So the sentencing yesterday happens, and it was during the day, so I really couldn't bring it to you, and it was kind of lengthy. The two daughters, the daughter of Kathy Friday, the woman that committed suicide, made a statement, and the daughter of Victoria Prokopovits, the wife, made a statement. And it was interesting because they made their statements. They both got up on the stand together. They were very connected, and they seemed to have bonded over this. But, long story short, they said, you took our mother's lives. You are responsible for our mother's death. And then the one woman said, I would just love to get some closure. If you could just tell us where the body was, I would ask the judge for leniency for you. Just tell us where her body is so we can have some closure. It was gut-wrenching. They were sobbing, of course, So then it comes to the defense time. He doesn't want to make a statement. No, sir, not going to make a statement. And then his defense lawyer says, listen, we're not going to tell you where the body is because we don't know where the body is. And the judge asked him, do you want to make a statement? No, sir, I do not. So the judge just admonishes him like you would not believe. I believe, what is going on? Stop crying. Um, the jury has found you guilty of murder, and I agree with them. And furthermore, I think you're responsible for the other woman's death too. You know, she killed herself the morning of her sentencing for perjury that you encouraged her to do. She wouldn't have been in that situation if it hadn't been for you, and now she's dead. Um, so he says, I realize I didn't expect that you were going to come in here today and tell us where that body was, because I know you've got appeals and you can't make an admission if you've got appeals. But he says, I hope when you go to jail in 2 or 3 years that, your conscience will, you know, take a hold of you and you'll tell us where this body is. And the whole time, he's like shaking his head, like, he still is denying that he did this thing. Um, it was crazy. So he gets sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now he's 75 years old. He's never going to get out of prison. There were other years tacked on for the obstruction charge. He got 3 months. For the perjury charge, he got 6 years. For the conspiracy to commit perjury, he got 6 years. To run consecutively, so one after the other. And so he's never going to leave jail. And the defense was asking, he says, the defense is like, I realize you have to sentence him to life in prison. I realize that's mandatory. But you do have the ability to set a parole date. He says, my client is 75 years old. Set a parole date. Because, as it stands now, he wouldn't be eligible for a parole until he was 95 years old. Yeah. It does say without the possibility of parole, but there is always a possibility of parole. I don't know why that is, but yes, he would be 95 before he was eligible for parole. Well, this judge says, no, I'm not going to set a parole date. Nope. Life in prison. So, and then the plaintiff, I guess just to twist the knife a little bit, comes back and says, can we have a condition of no contact? And the judge says, oh, yeah. So he is not allowed to ever contact any of the family of Victoria Prokopovich or Kathy Friday. No contact. Interesting day in the legal system yesterday. So as far as a verdict, if it comes back during the day today, I will try to figure something out and try to go live. I'm going to be at work, but I think I can swing it. Yeah, we'll see. I'll be watching. Or it may not be till this afternoon and I'm home, and we'll see. I know tonight Mickey Sunshine's live is at 6 p.m. No, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. Jennifer is not doing a live. DP Addiction Adventures, no live tonight. She is on a road trip, a sporting event with her daughter, but it's a road trip. I just took diamond painting and crochet with her. Bless her heart. So we're going to do this day in history. Do y'all remember Phil Hartman? He used to do all these, he's a comedian, and he would do these Saturday Night Live skits. And one of the skits that he would do was he would imitate Bill Clinton. So I'll put a picture of what Phil Hartman looked like, and then I'll put a picture of him imitating Bill Clinton on Saturday Night Live. Well, he, on this day in history, he is murdered by his wife. Earlier that evening, he had threatened to leave her if she didn't stop using drugs. So she kills him. She waits till he goes to bed, and then she shoots him while he's sleeping. Now that's kind of cowardice, isn't it? That was about 3 a.m. So the police respond. They take the children out of the home, and as they're taking the children out of the home, she kills herself. those poor kids. I don't know how old those kids were, but how traumatic is that? You lost both your parents, and I don't know what they saw or didn't see, but how horrible. But this was in 1998, May 28th, 1998. So sad, so sad. Um, he just wanted her to stop using drugs, and I don't know, I guess she didn't want to. I'm sure there was way more to the story than that, between the two of them. So, I gotta go to work, 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 work. Gotta go to work, 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 work. I want to finish this pink right here. Pink, pink, pink. So I came home from work yesterday. I played Animal Crossing. Well, not right away. I did a lot of that crochet first. Caught up on some of my TV shows, and then I went down and lay down in bed and played Animal Crossing for quite a while. And then I played this other game that I like to play. It's called Dawn of Titans. It's a game on the Apple. It's a pretty interesting game. It's one that I've been playing for several years. And what else? Oh, I was watching more episodes of Hoarders. Oh my God, this episode that I watched last night, this woman had not only hoarded her home, but she owned a motel that had like 15 rooms or something, and every single room was hoarded. Like there was stuff in every room. So, of course, by the end of the episode, she has agreed to get rid of it all. They got to clean out all of the hotel rooms. But, as soon as they leave, they said she started collecting the stuff that they had. She had to go buy stuff that they had taken away from her. So, I'm sure that nothing got resolved. The hoarding continued. Crazy. Crazy. I don't know how people live like that, man. She had no refrigerator, no toilet, no way to shower, no microwave, nothing. It's crazy. So, and why do I watch that? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm a yarn hoarder. I'm a craft hoarder. Like I've got all these diamond paintings here, and I want more. Like that. There's one diamond art club this weekend that is so beautiful. It's a dragon on a door, and it's just gorgeous. And I don't know if they put the artist. Oh, they did. I looked up the artist, and I can't remember the name of the artist, but that's beautiful. So I'm tempted. I want to see what they come out with today, because I do have a credit at Diamond Art Club. But this weekend, the other 2 diamond paintings that I ordered should be here tomorrow. Yay! Maybe a time for the morning show. Or maybe not. So I'll just do separate unboxings of those. Anyway, I got to go to work, guys. I could sit here and talk to you all day rather than go to work, because I prefer to diamond paint. Let me just put these last 2 drills in for this color. 1, 2, and then I can put these 2 colors away when I get home later today. Guys, thanks for watching the show. I do have a community post. Look for that. It's a poll on where you can vote guilty, not guilty, or hung jury. Let me know what you think. So far, it's 100% guilty. So, take care, everybody. Love you. Bye.